coach, I feel that it's my responsibility to say, I am not big on fueling hacks that add ingredients, okay? And the reason is tracking. And you know, when I say add ingredients, it's always adding plan approved ingredients. Have to track those condiments because we are only allowed 3 condiments per day on the 5-in-1. And if you go over those condiments, you can go over your carb count, which in turn then can knock you right out of fat burn, which, trust me, is a place nobody wants to be. I am trying a little experiment. I've never actually done this, what I'm about to do, but when I was growing up, my grandma used to make, with leftover mashed potatoes, she would make the most delicious little potato pancakes. And so that's what I'm gonna attempt. I'm gonna use our sour cream and chive mashed potato fueling for this. To that, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of egg beaters and 6 tablespoons of water. To count it as a condiment or anything like that. 2 tablespoons of egg beaters, which is essentially egg whites, per nutrition support, doesn't have enough in it to really count it as anything. So this hack does not change. I don't have to count anything on this. I'm just cooking it a different way. So what I'm gonna do is heat up my skillet. While that's heating up, we're gonna mix together our potato mixture. Smell the sour cream and chives, yum. I hate that y'all can't see my face while I'm talking to you, but I don't guess it matters. Let's say a prayer this works, because like I said, I've never done it before. Here we go. Oh wow, I may have to do it I should have gotten a much bigger skillet. This is gonna make probably 4 or 6 of these. Look how much I have left. All right, they're starting to firm up around the edges, so I'm going to attempt flipping. Here we go. Oh, that worked. Look at that cute little pancake. Can you see that? Y'all, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? All right. 2 little pancakes. Ooh. Oh yeah, this is gonna make like 5. Okay guys, I made 5 little pancakes. Let's go see how these taste. Here we go. Well, that's a really good flavor. I actually really like that. It's very similar to the consistency if you waffle it. This just, I'll be honest, this makes you feel like you're getting a whole lot more. Today, we're gonna hack the oatmeal. The Orchard apple and cinnamon oatmeal. Now, this is one of my favorite fuelings, cooked exactly. Now, I do use less water when I mix it. I do 1/2 cup instead of 2/3 because I like my oatmeal thick. But today, we're gonna turn it into 2 little muffins. Now, I'm gonna use quite a few condiments to do this because I'm gonna use 3 full condiments to do this because I'm gonna put a little cream cheese icing on top of it. So to turn the oatmeal into 2 little muffins, you're just gonna put your oatmeal in here. Then to help it rise, you're gonna put 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder, which technically counts as 1 condiment. Okay, and then when you're making it as oatmeal, like I said, it calls for 2/3 cup. I'm gonna use 1/2 cup. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split it between egg beaters and water. The egg beaters just kind of helps it form more of a cake consistency. So 2 tablespoons of egg beaters, excuse me, and 6 tablespoons of water, which equals 1/2 cup. And that's the consistency I do when I actually make the oatmeal, is 1/2 cup of water. So let me mix this all together. Sorry, got a scratchy throat this morning. So hard you can't see me. You just can't see me. I just struggle with this camera angle when I'm doing cooking things, and it's because I have this high bar. If I had an island that I could put y'all in front of me, it would work so much better, but I have to come from the side and it just makes it difficult. All right, that seems really soupy. Correctly how to do this. All right, I've sprayed 2 muffin pans, and now I'm just gonna split the mixture between the 2. It's very full. They're gonna rise up. And I'm gonna cook it for 18 to 20 minutes. Check it, may have to go a little longer. The oatmeal takes a little bit longer than some of the baked goods. Here they are. I cooked them for 23 minutes. I think they're done. They feel a little bouncy. I'm gonna pop them out, put them on a plate. Hold on 1 second. Okay, let me pop these out. Hopefully they won't stick and they won't fall apart. Ooh, those are pretty. They're very moist because they're oatmeal. Two perfect little oatmeal apple cinnamon muffins. If I just eat them like this, I've had one fueling, one condiment, because I have to count the baking powder as a condiment. Now, if I want to amp them up and make them a really wonderful, yummy dessert, that will actually use 3 condiments. So you would only do this maybe in maintenance, when you're not, when you have a little bit more leeway there with your condiments, or on a day that you're just like, no, I'm going to this party, they're gonna have little bundt cakes, and so I want to have something wonderful too, so I'm not going to have any condiments with my lean and green, so I'm going to use them for this. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, we're going to make cream cheese frosting, and the way I do it is I use I buy the whipped cream cheese. It is 2 tablespoons is 50 calories, so I cut that in half. 1 tablespoon is 25 calories and 1 carb, so that counts as 1 condiment. So I'm just gonna scoop in 1 tablespoon and then Splenda. That's my sugar-free sweetener of choice. You may like stevia or Truvia. Just make sure it's 0 calories. And I use about half the packet. So technically it doesn't have to count as a whole condiment. So that would be like 1.5 condiment. But I use half a packet and then I taste it to make sure it's sweet enough, which usually it is, because artificial sweeteners are like 10 times as sweet as sugar. So let's just, let me just taste. On top of our little apple muffin. If you do this, you're using pretty much all your condiments for the day. This is technically 2.5 condiments between the baking soda, or excuse me, baking powder, 1 tablespoon of the cream cheese, and a half packet of Splenda. That's 2.5 condiments. So good. Enjoy. I'm gonna do 2 fueling hacks to make crackers out of 2 of our savory options. One is the cheddar herb biscuit, and the other is the cheesy buttermilk mac and cheese. Okay, now, this one's the one that's really different. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour this, if I can get it open. You know, sometimes these things open real easy, and then sometimes I have to get scissors. Scissors. Okay, so I'm gonna pour this in my food processor. And what I'm doing is I'm grinding it down. I'm grinding the noodles and all the cheese mixture down, and then I'm gonna make it a paste, and I'm gonna spread it over this parchment paper and bake it at a very high temperature. I've got my oven preheated to 400. Okay, change of plans. I had to transport it into my NutriBullet. That food processor was just too big, and so it was not able to grind it. It was just flying around in there. So we're gonna try the NutriBullet. Made it a pretty fine little powder. I see a few little chunks of noodles in there. This is an experiment waiting to go wrong. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna transport it into my bowl here, and then I'm gonna start adding water until I get it to a paste consistency. Start with 3 tablespoons of water. I think I probably could have done more like 2.5. It would have been thicker, but I think this will work. You see, it's just kind of it's thick. And you want it to be thick because you're gonna spread it out. It smells like a Cheez-It, y'all. And I've added nothing to this. This is a hack totally just based on how you prepare it. So all I would have to count this for, if it works, is a fueling. All right, so I'm gonna just plop it out here, and then I'm gonna spread it. There it is. Say a prayer, y'all. I'm gonna go put it in the oven. I have my oven preheated to 400 degrees because I want it to get really crispy. Hopefully I don't just end up with burnt cheese. Although, you know, I kind of like the way burnt cheese tastes. Here I go. The next one I'm gonna do is with the buttermilk cheddar herb biscuit. And I'm going to use a mini muffin pan. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix it up just as the directions say. I might put a little bit more water in it just to get it thinner. And then I'm not gonna fill it up to make muffins. I'm just gonna put just enough to cover the bottom. So it's gonna make these tiny little crackers, like little cheddar herb crackers, we hope. I've never done either one of these, so you gotta try new things. Okay, here we go. I like to use a little wire whisk so I get most of the lumps out. So you're just gonna mix it up. I think this should probably make quite a few little crackers. I'm using this small little spoon. It's a tiny spoon. You could probably use like a little teaspoon. We're talking just a dollop because you just want it to cover the bottom of it. Actually, I'm probably gonna be able to make quite a few of these. Decided to get a measuring spoon because I could hear my daughter in my head saying, Mom, you gotta give us precise measurements, because she'll ask me how to cook something and I'm like, oh, I don't know, you just put a little of this and a little of that. She's like, no, I need measurements. So I heard her in my head. So now I'm using a half teaspoon. And I think that's gonna be actually, some of these are gonna have more than that. I think the half teaspoon is exactly what you need. Well, if I had used the half teaspoon measurement, it would have filled up this entire mini muffin pan, because you're just coating the bottom of it because you want these crisp little crackers. Here we go. I've got it set at 400. Have a moment of silence, moment of prayer that this will work. Seriously. Okay, here we go. Here is what the cheese crackers turned out to look like. They're not pretty, but I actually tasted one. Ivy, shh. And they're actually pretty tasty. Very crunchy around the end. You hear the crunch? They're very cheesy. They're very dry. They'll really help you get your water in. All right, this is what the little biscuits turned out. They're not real crisp. There's a little crunch to them. They're actually really nice, y'all. Yeah, I like that. It's not full on like a cracker, but there's a crunch to it, and that's nice because I miss like a crunchy like chip or something sometimes. So I think these are both a winner. Here's two fueling hacks that, like I said, I didn't add anything to them at all, so you can fix them just like this and count them as just fuelings. If you want a little dip with your cracker, then you're gonna have to count that as a condiment or a healthy fat, however it works. All right, guys, this was fun. What a fun experiment. I'm gonna make one of my favorite afternoon shakes. I'm gonna make a chai latte vanilla shake. The way I do that is I use the creamy vanilla shake, and then I do 1 cup of the Keurig chai latte tea, and then I like mine cold, so I stick it in the fridge and let it get really cold. So I do it in the morning, and then I have it in the afternoon. So I'm gonna put some ice in here, my tea, my shake. I use 1 Splenda packet. You don't have to, but the tea is kind of strong for me, so I always put 1 Splenda packet, so this does count for 1 condiment. But I'm really looking forward to it. I've been at the pool all afternoon with my daughter and my grandson. This is one of his favorite drinks from Starbucks, is the chai latte, the cold one. So he really likes this one. But anyway, I'm gonna make this up. I'm gonna put some ice in here, my tea, and get it going. Ice, tea. And yes, I do 1 Splenda packet. Not necessary though. A lot of people do this without that. That's just my preference. I like it a little sweet, a little sweeter. And then 1 packet of the vanilla shake mix. So if you do it this way, it's 1 fueling and 1 condiment because of the sweetener. And there we have it. Here we go. First taste of your shake is always the best. Oh my gosh. Yeah, y'all, that's really so good. You gotta try this one. I think I've shown y'all this one before. It's so good. So y'all have a great day. Be safe, be blessed, and be well. And I'll see y'all next time.